Our first gig out of town was in Boston, and we drove from LA to Boston in a station wagon and a van.
I worked the hardest with the first edition because we were at an era where we weren't big enough to work the showrooms. We worked lounges, and a lot of the lounges you did 5 shows a night. And we made a great living, and it was because I was the age I was and because I was where I was in my life, I really loved it, but it was physically very demanding.
I was in college and working at the campus radio station, and the first interview I ever did was with Kenny Rogers. I remember, in fact, I've gone back and listened to that interview. He was polite, he was bright, he was topical. In fact, that interview could easily be played today. I mean, he knew what he was about, he knew what he wanted to say, he knew what his music meant, he knew how to treat people 30 years ago.
The original members of the first edition, which were Mike Settle, Thelma Camacho, Terry Williams, who's still with the group, and myself, were all members of the New Christy Minstrels at the same time, and we had actually presented most of the material contained in our first album to the Christys in hopes that they would record it as the Christy Minstrels, and the people who owned the Christys at the time felt that it was too great a departure from the accepted image of the Christys, and they were just kind of afraid to gamble with it. And at that point, we decided that when you get afraid to gamble with your image, then that means you're willing to accept what your image is, and you can only go downhill.